Morning peeps, good morning everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. We're here peeps. All the talking is done. All the interviews are done. All the build up is done. All the mind games are done. In a few hours, these gladiators, these modern day gladiators, that's what they are going to throw hands, and it's going to be one hell of a spectacle. It really is. Once the music gets pumping in Wembley Stadium, once the pyrotechnics get going, once the British fight fans, I think the best fight fans in the world, start to sing, it's going to be sensational. I think the whole week's been really good. I think it was capped off perfectly yesterday at Trafalgar Square. I didn't even know you could rent Trafalgar Square. I didn't know Trafalgar Square was available for hire. And I'm guessing it isn't. So they would have paid a lot of money to be there. But it was really good for the fight fans and just for, I guess, people that didn't even know what was going on, just the general public walking past to see some of these fighters on the scales would have been something. And I think the fighters feed off it as well. I always say, get the fight fans, get the public involved in everything. Like, I would have them at a press conference. I would have it there. Obviously, you can't have that many there, but I'd have some in, because they bring a different type of energy that we in the media don't bring. They bring a noise. They start screaming and shouting. And I think the fight fans feed off that. But yeah, it was good yesterday. All the fighters looked in great nick. I'm sure you guys know this, but you know that's a ceremonial weigh-ins. Like, that's not, like, the weigh-ins would have happened 11 o'clock in the morning, maybe slightly earlier. That's just for us. That's just for you guys in the general public, right? I'm sure everyone knows this, but just to clear it up if you don't. So yeah, all the fighters looked incredible. The reason I say this is because I think Kakat looked massive. He looked massive, and I don't even want to try and guess as to what he weighed. Obviously, I think he weighed in 129.7 or something. I'm thinking he looked about 140. 140 come fight night. So in a few hours, he's going to be, I think, around 147, 148. So he's going to be a welterweight. He's going to be big. Look, Josh looked big as well, but I don't think Josh is going to put on that much size. He'll put on a bit, but not that much. Whereas Kakat just looked like a beast. A beast. Anyway, look, without further ado, let's not waste any time. Let's go through the fights, and I will give you my honest thoughts and predictions. Let's quickly get up the fight card, because I do think there's been a couple of movements. Like Joshua Buatsi's been put up. That fight against Hutchinson's been put up. It was originally supposed to be after the opener, so it was supposed to be after Mark Chamberlain, Josh Padley, but it's been put up, and rightly so. All right, let's start with this one first. Mark Chamberlain versus Josh Padley. Now, this is, both of these guys are lightweights, but this is a super lightweight fight, and I think that this favors Mark Chamberlain. Mark's so big. He honestly is so big. He will probably be close to a middleweight. I'm not even joking. Close to a middleweight come fight night. He's a big guy. Padley's not small either. Look, both of these guys are unbeaten. I didn't mind a little push and a shove at the weigh-in, and it was Mark that initiated that, which tells me Josh has somehow got under his skin a little bit. And if you're Josh, you're taking anything you can from this, right? Look, this is a big experience for Josh. Some people freeze in these type of experiences, in these type of environments. For Mark, he's done a couple of Riyadh season events already, so he kind of understands it. Obviously, it's not a Wembley Stadium Riyadh season event. Is completely different, but he's been in, if you like, big time boxing for the last 6 or 7 months, maybe slightly before that. So he's experienced it at least. And I think his experience, he's on a roll at the moment. I think he's going to have too much for Josh Padley. And I'm going for Mark Chamberlain stoppage 6-8. I think Josh will do well in the first few rounds, but I think Mark will get to him. Josh Kelly versus Ishmael Davis. Both of these guys on stage yesterday looked like they were fucking auditioning for Mr. Olympia. Both of them looked incredible. Incredible. Josh looks really filled out. Obviously, look, look, both of these guys are 154 fighters, and they both would have benefited and would have loved this extra £6. Boy. Any other fighter coming in on 6 days notice, I would say no chance. Absolutely no chance. You just haven't got the engine for it. You're going to gas out. You're going to, all these things, right? But Ishmael's so calm in the way in which he fights. He fights at his own pace. He might need to kind of up that pace because Josh is a mover. I'm going to go with Josh. Just because, again, Josh has been in camp training for a fight. Yes, not against Ishmael, but a fight for the last 2-3 months. Ishmael has started camp because he was due to fight in October. But starting camp and being right at the peak of your powers fitness-wise are two different things. So I'm going to go Josh to get the job done on points. I think Ishmael is going to be there, and he's going to be there until the end, and he's going to cause some problems. But I think Josh, just based off the fact that he's had a full camp, surely that has to play dividends in this. So I'm going Josh Kelly to get the job done. So I've gone Mark Chamberlain, I've gone Josh Kelly. Kakat, Josh Warrington. I think there's one good night in Josh, I really think there's one more good night in Josh. The only problem is that Kakat is just enormous. And look, Kakat coming off that Cordina win, I mean, I said to, I don't know if you guys saw this, but when I spoke to Kakat at the media public workout, I was like, look, dude, that performance against Joe Cordina, considering who it was against, I think was probably the best performance I've seen in Riyadh season. Because Joe came in as a favourite. It's Joe Cordina. And I know there was a punch sort of after the bell, after the referee told him to break, which caused a lot of the issues in that fight. But even prior to that, Kakat was just lighting him up. Kakat looked like a man possessed. And I think he is so desperate to stay at the top table. Josh has been to the top table. Josh has only been fighting at the top table for the last decade, whereas Kakat only just reached there. And I think that hunger that Kakat has to say, no, I still want a lot of this, means he hasn't taken the foot off the pedal. He's not overlooking Josh whatsoever. So I think Josh is going to do what Josh does, which is steamroll his opponents. Although against Lee Wood, it was a boxing match and he outboxed Lee for certain periods of that fight. So don't be surprised if Josh starts slow, tries to outbox Kakat, and then just says, fuck it, let's have a firefight. And if he gets into that let's have a firefight mentality, Kakat is too big, too strong, and hits too hard. And I think could stop Josh late. But I think Josh is going to cause him a hell of a problem. I really do. But I'm going to go Kakat stopping Josh late. 9-10. You know what's crazy about this fight? This fight's scheduled to walk at 6 p.m. 6 p.m. Josh Warrington, who I heard is bringing around 9,000 down from Leeds, walking at 6 p.m. It shows how good this card is. All right, Joshua Buatsi versus Willie Hutchinson. My pick for fight of the night. Boy. Mate, this is a tough one to call. It really is. I mean, if there was no Craig Richards, Willie Hutchinson, and all I saw was Josh, Willie Hutchinson, I'm like, Josh, let's move on. But we have some video evidence of Willie Hutchinson. And that boy can fight. You let that boy get in a rhythm. He can not just fight, by the way, in terms of move. He can punch. He can crack a little bit as well. He switches, different angles, different looks. Josh has got to nail him and nail him early. You've got to say, fuck all that movement, bang. Similar to Ishmael Davis, Josh Kelly, by the way. Josh moves a lot as well. But Joshua Buatsi has got to nail him early. If he doesn't, it could be a problem. It really could. Willie is so confident. Willie's talking about knocking out Joshua Buatsi. I'm like, huh? But you can't sleep on him. You can't. When someone like him talks now, you kind of have to listen. Confidence is a big thing in boxing, and this guy is super confident. Super confident. I'm going Buatsi points. I don't think Buatsi stops him. I don't. I'm going Buatsi points. I take that back. I'm going Buatsi points, maybe Buatsi late stoppage. Maybe. But it's going to be a tough fight. This one, I think, and this is no disrespect to Tyler Denny, I think this one, of the last 3 fights at least, I think this one, I kind of feel like it's going to be Hamza. Like, I think Tyler Denny's pressure is a problem, but I just think Hamza's too big, man. Like, these guys both weighed in at 159 pounds. They were the same weight for about a minute, because Hamza then just goes, he's too big, he's too long, he's too rangy, hits hard. He now has experience fighting in big fights as well. I think he's just a bit too much for Tyler Denny. He is. I mean, Hamza wanted everyone. He wanted Carlos Adames. They sent an offer to Alan Canali. He turned it down. They wanted Chris Eubank Jr. He wants every bit of smoke in the middleweight division. He could be the best middleweight in the world right now. Could be. That's still to be proved. But I think Tyler's going to put the pressure on. Tyler will try and make you fight his fight, which is pressure. But I think Hamza's going to dent him. I think Hamza's going to dent him and slow him down. And if he then starts to slow him down, he can then pick him off with those shots, those rangy punches. I think Hamza gets the job done. All right, anyway, enough of that. You want my prediction for AJ versus Daniel Dubois. You know, when this fight was first spoken about or first mentioned, even when I first interviewed AJ after Dubois beat Hrgovic, in my head, I said, AJ flatlines Daniel Dubois. That's what I was thinking. Sometimes when you watch the interviews and, you know, you watch behind the scenes, you can kind of be it can kind of muddy the waters a little bit. You've always got to go, I think, with what you first thought. Unless, you know, you hear about injuries or sparring wars in camp, you've always got to go with what you first thought. I'm going to go with what I first thought. I'm not going to make this a long prediction video. I think AJ stops Dubois. I think Dubois takes too many right hands. I think Dubois leaves his chin in the air when he's going backwards. I just feel like if AJ times Dubois in any way like Filip Hrgovic did, and by the way, Filip Hrgovic is a very good boxer. He might have better timing than AJ, I don't know. But AJ's faster. AJ hits harder. And I think we've realised now that AJ's a bit more spiteful. If AJ lands on Dubois like that, it's lights out. It's lights out. But there's a flip side to that coin. If Dubois lands on AJ, I don't know if Dubois is a one-punch KO artist, but I do know when he knows you're hurt, you're fucked. You're fucked. I've watched a lot of his fights back recently. When he knows you're hurt, you have a problem because he swarms. He swarms. It's almost like he's almost a dog off the leash. Like when he sees or smells blood, he just wants to go, and it's just 100 miles per hour that way. There is no backward step with him. He will go in, he'll rush him with his head, he'll rush him with elbows, he'll get in there, he'll throw to the body. He really likes those body shots, by the way. He really, really likes them. Whereas AJ, I think, more favours the left hook and uppercut. Daniel Dubois definitely likes the right hand in those body shots. So he's going to get really close into AJ and steamroll him, and he's going to try and land on the body. So AJ's got to make sure he tucks up and be careful and slip and slide. But AJ's got enough experience. He's got enough experience. He's done this walk before. And ringside will be Fury and Usyk. And we know he wants to dance with Fury, and he wants to walk once more with Alexander Usyk. AJ, I believe, will stop Daniel Dubois in round 7. I'm even giving you a round. I'm not going this to this. I'm giving you a specific round 7. But he's going to have to come for a bit of a storm. I will see you at Wembley Stadium.